Thanksgiving. I hope wherever you are at today, you can do a few things. I hope you can rest. I hope you can count your blessings and remember all the things that you're thankful for. I hope you can spend some time with friends and family that you miss. And I hope, especially, that you can enjoy some great Thanksgiving food. Thanksgiving is one of the best holidays, and I think it's because we have the best food at Thanksgiving. It's probably gonna be the best food you're gonna eat all year long. Thanksgiving, it has something for everybody. Whether you enjoy tearing into some turkey, or filling your mouth with mashed potatoes and gravy, or whether you enjoy devouring deviled eggs or stuffing yourself with stuffing, Thanksgiving has something that you will love and enjoy. We think about the food at Thanksgiving all year long. We dream about it even. We sneak into the kitchen when we think grandma isn't looking just before the table is set, and we steal a little piece of turkey or we steal a roll of bread because it just smells so good and we can't wait for the feast to start. But even if none of that Thanksgiving fare is for you, even if you're not a big fan of the traditional Thanksgiving dishes, I'm sure that growing up, grandma always had something special for you, or that maybe you provide something special for your grandkid that you know they're gonna love. Thanksgiving, it has something for everyone. But unfortunately, not everyone can always make it to Thanksgiving. Even though all the tables are occupied and all the chairs have someone sitting in them, there's still at least one or two people who can't make it every year to Thanksgiving. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The first is distance. Maybe you have kids living in California who can't make it to Thanksgiving dinner. Or maybe you have relatives who work the Thanksgiving dinner shift who aren't able to make it. Or maybe the ultimate distance, the distance of death, separates you from the people that you wish were there the most. There's distance, and there's also differences that mean that people won't be at Thanksgiving this year. And there's all kinds of differences that we have that get in between us and the people around us. Political views, or worldviews about the world, or views on religion and faith, or maybe there's some conflict there that needs to be resolved. Maybe there's some forgiveness that needs to be offered in a relationship. Maybe there's some reconciliation that needs to happen but hasn't yet. And that can make it difficult for some people to want to come home for Thanksgiving, to feel like they're invited, and maybe the truth is they're really not invited. Distance and differences keep us apart at Thanksgiving and in our life in general. It means that not everyone can make it, or not everyone's invited. Even when you do have the best food, the absence of someone special, someone that you wish was there, it makes it difficult to enjoy that food. Even if everything is set, even if the turkey is cooked to perfection, even if your glass, your plate, and your stomach are full, something might not feel quite right. And it's because of the people who aren't able to be there. But what's not right is more than just the disappointment of who couldn't make it this year, or the dysfunction of your family, or the distance of death. What's not right is the world, including you and I and everyone who's ever lived. And what's not right about us and the world around us is sin. It's the disruption that comes from our own human deviance in our relationships with God and with one another. It's our desire to live apart from God and His design for us that makes everything feel not quite right. It's all comes back to sin. It's a feeling that goes back to the garden when Adam and Eve ate the food that God told them not to eat. And the garden that they were once invited into, that they were once made for, was now off limits to them. Their invitation was revoked. They were excluded from where they should be included. And this distance, it's not just between us and the people around us. These differences aren't just with you and your niece or nephew. We all are distant from God. We're separated from him, and it is our sin that separates us. It's the difference of sin that keeps us from God and his presence. But thankfully, God invites you to a new feast, to a new dinner, better than any Thanksgiving dinner you and I could ever have on this side of eternity. And it's a feast of a wedding. It's the marriage feast of the Lamb that John the Apostle sees and writes about in the book of Revelation. God gives him a vision, and he sees this wedding feast of the Lamb. Listen to what the Apostle John writes. Revelation chapter 19, verses 6 through 9. Then I heard what seemed to be the voice of a great multitude, like the roar of many waters, and like the sound of mighty peals of thunder, crying out, Hallelujah! For the Lord our God, the Almighty, reigns. Let us rejoice and exult and give him the glory. For the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. It was granted to her to clothe herself with fine linen, bright and pure. For the fine linen is the righteous deeds of the saints. And the angel said to me, Write this. Blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true words of God. God, he invites you to a feast. Not a Thanksgiving feast, but a wedding feast. A wedding between the church, all believers in Jesus, and God himself, Jesus. That's the wedding that happens. That's the pairing that occurs. That is what we celebrate. With the finest wine and the best food in God's kingdom, in his presence forever. That is what we get to celebrate. We get to celebrate what Jesus has done for us, removing the distance between us and God by coming down to live with us and taking away the difference of sin that separates us from God by dying on the cross and letting his blood cover over our sin so that our difference with God would be no more, and he would welcome us into his kingdom, welcome us to the table of the heavenly banquet again. That is what we get to celebrate. And we get little glimpses, little tastes, if you will, of that feast here and now on this side of eternity. Just like you sneak a little piece of turkey at Thanksgiving, we get to taste this feast that we are going to taste in full when Jesus returns. We get to taste it in the Lord's Supper, when we gather together in unity with the church, and we get to receive the forgiveness that Jesus has for us, and he is even present with us. And we even get to see little tastes, little glimpses of this feast at our own Thanksgiving celebrations today, where you are gathered with those that you love, where you get to laugh and enjoy their company, where people come from large distances in spite of their differences to be together for Thanksgiving because it's good to be together as a family. When Jesus returns, we're going to be together as God's family at the wedding feast of the Lamb. And that's going to be the best celebration there ever was. So today, while you watch football, while you enjoy the family that are there with you, and while you enjoy the food, remember that every good thing about Thanksgiving, it points to the best thing, the best feast that you and I are going to be a part of when Jesus returns. Remember that today. Enjoy your time with friends and family, and let it remind you of the wedding feast that is waiting for you when Jesus returns. And know that you are invited. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving peace, and I hope to see you on Sunday as we start our journey into the season of Advent. Have a great Thanksgiving and enjoy the food.